Hi, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Good to see you. My PR team's been on a break over the past little while. We'll get straight into chatting a little bit. First of all, just want to say thanks to anyone who listens to me in long form, which I'm sure lots of you do, and you sort of understand what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to say, and that sometimes this stuff doesn't come out entirely perfectly in the moment and in the midst of, say, just winning, or in editing, as the video today, which I find a lot of it innocuous and pretty bothersome that people care so much. But thank you very much for the congratulations. Thank you for the moose droppings. Thank you for liking the video. Helps tremendously. Simulacra, welcome. Thank you very much for being a member. It definitely supports getting as much content out there as possible. Really excited about the lead up to Worlds and filming lots there. Making sure you guys know I put it all out there for you. Not a cheap endeavor to do that, but I think it's important for me to get where I want to go. To do that. Katie asked if Liz and Laws lived closer. I wish Liz and Laws lived with me. They're the best. Like, it's funny, I've only known them for a year, less than a year, maybe 8 months, 9 months, because they're probably my closest friends or people I go to when I have difficulty, people to bounce things off, and really valued relationships. Like, I think genuinely, if you're talking about the things that I've got most from this year, my relationship with the two of them is probably very close to the top of the list, on top of the winning and podiums and friends. That's something that feels really meaningful. That's going to last a long time. Simulacra says WSM all the way. It's tough, you know. It's possible. It's certainly possible, but those finals events are going to be difficult for me, for sure. I mean, when it comes to deadlift for reps, my deadlift's as good as ever. The shield carry, I love that. It could be 2 event wins. I still haven't proven myself on a truck pull. I'm going to work really, really hard on getting the technique. And now I have the time and the resources. Well, I don't have the time, but I certainly have the resources to make sure that I can get out to a truck multiple times. And be able to get lots of practice in there. But then we got max dumbbell. I'm hoping to get 130, 135, somewhere in there. That would be awesome. And then a really clean stone run. It would need me to be really good on the dumbbell and have a really good stone run to be possible, which is possible for sure. But yeah, if you replace something like the dumbbell with a yoke, then I'd be doing not a victory dance, but I'd be doing a happy dance. But unfortunately, that's not the situation. Mr. C says latency will not be tolerated. It'll have to be tolerated. I always tell people that I have my own time zone that runs like 3-4 minutes behind when I'm supposed to be doing something. So, World's Strongest Man. Hey, Mitch. Yeah, all good. Day 1 of WSM prep. Awesome. Day 1 back from any competition. As always, you sort of see how it goes. But 352 for a set of 4. I was doing some kettlebell swings for our whatever we're throwing up over the bar, because I don't have sandbags. I just have those kettlebells. What else did I do today? I did just some general bodybuilding, rowing, lat pull down, all that. So I also did speed deadlifts because we're deadlifting on the apparatus in the heats. And so speed is going to be of the essence. But I love ladders. Like any ladder gives me really good feeling. So our law ladder, I'm pumped. The deadlift is sort of like a ladder as it gets heavier. I'm pumped. So should be good. The heat events are really, really good for me. World's Strongest Man is here. I formally request my group to be me, Tom, Alexi, Brian Shaw, and Mateusz. Please, I'd love to get 3 of them out of the way before the finals, and then I wouldn't have to deal with them. Spencer, an honor and pleasure to watch me in Columbus. Thanks, mate. That's humbling. The whole experience is really quite humbling, and it's difficult to process. But I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. I'm glad we put on a good show for you. Without you guys, we're really not able to do a whole lot. Julian asking how the body is feeling. My body is feeling good. Yeah, no issues. Pulled up completely fine. which I sort of count my blessings when I do turn up to a comp, come home, win, lose, whatever, but not injured is definitely, definitely a bonus. Simulacra, you love seeing me with the old ladies. Yeah, that's a small part of my work. I do a lot in injuries. I do a lot in prevention, but that's sort of a nice sort of shut off. It's so funny talking to them. Like, you always learn something new. They always have a different perspective on life. And it seems like once you're over 70, like, problems just, they don't exist anymore. Like, anything could happen. The building could be on fire. And you're like, oh, well. Finest jelly beans, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. The question is, would you rather fight a chicken every time you enter a vehicle, or katana duel an intelligent chimp once a year? No, chicken. I wouldn't, even if the chimp didn't have a katana, I wouldn't want to go near the chimp. It's actually unbelievable. It's funny how strongman is sort of the challenge. Like, we are, I think, pound for pound, we must be the weakest animal in the entire world. So strongman is the challenge of who's the strongest, weakest animal, pound for pound, that exists. Because even if you think about it, we're, as strongmen, we're maybe 310 up to 400 or something. I promise you, none of us want to see a 60-pound wolf. Like, that would be terrifying if a 60-pound wolf wanted to tear us apart. So yeah, chicken, you'd probably scratch your arm, but you get the neck. And actually, Ashley's family is chicken farmers, so I could go get some practice in, learn some strategies, maybe get chicken feed, throw the chicken feed on the ground, and then be able to get after them. So yeah, chicken. Kian asks, what's the best tip for gaining muscle and strength for anyone, whether it's a pro strongman or a novice exerciser? Number one thing is just consistency, and the things that get in the way of consistency are very different. Sometimes that's getting injured as a pro strongman, but sometimes that's just life gets in the way, and managing whatever that may be, whether it's an injury or life or motivation, and finding ways to stay consistent is going to be far and away your number one thing for gaining muscle and strength. Jacob asked about fingerless fingers. How do I think I'll fare? What are the keys to success? I don't know keys to success. I mean, obviously move them fast. I'm just getting into my fingerless finger now. My gym built it for me, so I'm very, very fortunate for that. But we'll see. We'll see. It seems like definitely like pumping the legs really quick is important. And there's two challenges. It's like almost like from the stomach to here, which I think I'll be quite good at. I think I'll be able to get anything to here. The press seems like it's mostly fine, but it's when the pole gets to about 45 degrees that it seems to be particularly challenging and heavy. So I know it's been really heavy at Worlds in the past. I'm going to train it really heavy, and we'll see how I go. But I think I could definitely do well based on just biomechanics, based on strengths. I don't see a reason that I couldn't be very good at it, say top 3, top 4. Just coming through here, Spencer, thank you very much for the super chat. You're saying, appreciate the technical explanation of training, background of biomechanics, kinesiology. It is fascinating here from strongman with that view. Yeah, I definitely have a different way of thinking of things, but I don't find it, I think if you were to poll people who were in my class or who've graduated from similar programs, I think a lot of what I say, they'd sort of say like, yeah, mate, I know, like, it's not hard to deduce that. But I always revert to people who are very knowledgeable, take a complicated problem in any field, and they just make it very simple. And that's really my goal, is to boil it down to the simplest explanation that I possibly can. And if I can do that and you guys can get a bit of value from that, then in turn, I get a lot of value and a lot of purpose from being able to help you guys a little bit. Christoph, welcome to the Moose Crew. Thank you very much. Guys, joining the membership is $5 a month. It's really just a vote to say, I want this to continue. I want you to keep putting the content out. We've got really exciting thing, Roads to Worlds. I'm also just finalizing a really exciting trip out to a strongman comp in Alberta. And I'm also Saturday, with the Arnold's win, and like sort of the downfall from it all and a lot of negativity coming from whatever. I'm really excited just to get out to a local comp. There's a local comp happening on Saturday. I haven't told anyone I'm going. And I want to go sort of as much as and someone just to watch the comp as anything else. Watch people get excited, watch people support each other. I think the most special thing in all of strongman is watching someone get cheered for the first time. So I can't wait to get out there, back to the roots of what I love about the sport. Just the local people supporting each other, getting out there, watching a piece of equipment break, watching them adapt to it, watching a stone break in half and just find a new stone. I'm really excited for that. And hopefully I could bring some positive vibes and some cheering to that as well. Liam, a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Keep it up. I love the support. And the funny thing is, I don't know how much you guys on here know, but what's happened over the past 3-4 days, whatever. The people who I interact with are always super lovely. So I appreciate all of you on this, and I appreciate all those positive comments. I'm going to get to as many comments as I can. The easiest way for me to see your comments is definitely the members and definitely the super chats. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, maybe pump it in there a few times so I can see it. Ben says, hey, Mitchell, you're going to need more shelves installed for your trophies the way you're going. I reckon, mate. So these guys are pretty light. They're not bad. Up here, the Arnold UK one, that one, is probably like 40 pounds. The Shaw one is probably like 30 pounds. And then this one, the Louis Cyr trophy, I swear to God, the thing is 75, 80 pounds. It does my head in. So thankfully I was driving to Ohio, so it's pretty easy to come back. But yeah, I reckon, I'm working on an entire new house because at the moment, I said this on the podcast with Nick Best that'll come out soon. At the moment, there's something that feels wrong about Louis Cyr trophy just sitting on a desk in my second bedroom of my townhouse. So Ash and I are looking at the moment. We're very, very excited. This year could be house, wedding, child, pregnancy, which I'm like, I want that so bad. If you ask me when's World's Strongest Man or have a child, I'd probably say have a child straight away. But anyway, we're waiting for the wedding. Scotty, congrats on the Arnold Classic win. Such a humble guy. You're going to go far. I think for me, it goes both ways. Where I'm very nonchalant about it because I think there's a large element of I only picked up this sport a few years ago, and I think internally accomplishments feel much greater when there's been a lot of trials and tribulations. And I've been really fortunate to not have a lot of trials and tribulations. That being said, I have been in the hospital with injury when I was powerlifting. I've worked my ass off to make sure I don't have any weaknesses. I've worked my ass off indirectly in everything I've done leading up to my strongman career. But something like winning the Arnolds is not something that I chased for 10, 20 years. So say, it's like someone like Mateusz, who's like, that's been a really big goal for a long time. Just from a human level, it hasn't been a goal for me for as long. So it's hard for it to like have that like huge elation and huge amount of pride about it. I just see it as lifting weights and lifting heavy and working really hard. And I think one of the things that I haven't put out there and I'm hesitant to put out there is that part of the reason that I said winning doesn't mean much is not because winning doesn't mean much, but because I was just so proud of being able to get there. And it was super, super stressful for me leading up. Not really interesting why or how, just personally really difficult, business really difficult, being short-staffed everywhere. It took a really big toll on me. And that's part of why I go, the win itself doesn't mean a lot because I would have been proud of myself just to turn up and put in a pretty good performance. Where as it sunk in, like it's meant more and more. And like, it's the only trophy that I have like facing me. Like, and it's part because it's such a big deal. And part because I worked so hard to get there, and part because like I was under such difficult circumstances. And for me, I've just realized that like that's proof that I can go through a lot and still put one foot in front of the other. And I hope that shows you guys that if you put one foot in front of the other over a extended period of time, that you can get some pretty special places, and you don't really know where that's going to be until you get there. Christoph says that, oh wow, there's a lot of content to access in the membership tab. Yeah, there's a lot of webinars and stuff in there, really good information. If you want to learn, that's the place to be, for sure. So thank you very much for joining up. Funway says membership is super worth it. So much stuff in there for learning, nutrition, programming, etc. Yeah, there's a reasonable amount of stuff behind the paywall, and really how I decide what goes public and what's behind the paywall is if it's something that is going to get a lot of traction, I put it public. If it's something that provides a lot of value, I put it private. And that's really how it shakes out. Me and Fabian, as more members come about, the more stuff I'll do with the members. But at the moment, say like a members only chat, I did one of those the week before the Arnolds. Unfortunately, I'll have like 10 people, which is awesome. But if I had 10 people, I would love for you just to all be on the screen. Monica, thank you very much for joining the Moose team. I recognize you from Liz and Laz's channel. So yeah, good to pinch another one of their members. You can be a member of both, by the way. We're a team. See My Beard says, great win, Moose. It was great to meet you at the Rogue Invitational. My 8-year-old loved getting a picture with you. Yeah. Do you know what? That's something where at the Arnold, I made a point after every single event to go out, take pictures with everyone. And I'll do the same thing at Worlds. I'll do the same thing at every show, really, because without you guys, there's no sport and there's nothing to come from it. So growing the sport is definitely important, definitely on the forefront for me. And tying that back to my goals with the public health side of things and keeping people healthy. Strongman is life. Strongman, in the literal sense, the strongman movements are fundamental movement patterns. And if you can achieve those and you can do well with those, then you're going to be healthy for a long time. In strongman, we take it to the extreme. But if you understand the risk factors for injury, which I try to put out there as much as possible, I try to put out how to recover based on the evidence as much as possible. If you can follow that stuff, then in my eyes, you're going to exercise for a long time. So too often the message is interpreted as exercising for old people, but it's actually exercising for young people. The most obvious one being preventing osteoporosis in women is best done when you're 17 years old, which is called peak bone velocity, which is when you're actually adding bone mass fastest in your entire life. And when you finish that period, that bone mass determines if you have osteoporosis later on. So it's really as much in terms of getting out there and getting moving, it's as much people getting involved in strongman for the first time as it is 80-year-olds or 90-year-olds like you saw me with on the little chair there. Monica, you get an awesome moose next to your name. There you go. Michael, another member, congratulations on the ASC win. A little off topic. Do you think Rodgers will wind up with the Jets? I don't know. I hope so. I'd love a little bit of Jordan Love in my life. The Packers were very disappointing this year, but also regardless, they need someone to throw to. So that's really the overwhelming feeling there. American football for the British who don't know what we're talking about. Fun way sucks at your mastermind influencer now. I guess so. I love you, man. I don't know why the people call you arrogant and disrespectful. I think you're a breath of fresh air in the sport. Thank you. Yeah, it's like I said, I think it really goes both either way with me because I am very nonchalant about everything. And it can be interpreted as like you think you're so good that it's not a big deal. Or on the other half, it's like, well, one day I'm going to get hurt. I'll never be able to do comps again. I'll never win another thing. So I can't take a lot of pride in just the comp itself, or else eventually you're setting yourself up for mental disaster. And even if, say I wanted to win World's Strongest Man and my goal was to win, if I won, my life would lose purpose. And I think having a purpose in life is the most important thing to keep you going for the long run. Liz, by the way, I see you're here. Go to bed. Christopher, congratulations. You speak much with the Stoltmans. Tom, feeling the pressure from your progress. I don't know. There's a lot of strong dudes. I don't think one person looks at one person and goes, that's going to be a real problem. I think there is an element of, like, right now, the pool of guys who could definitely win worlds. Like there's me, there's Tom, there's Brian, Mateusz, Alexei, Evan, Trey. I would say top contenders. And it's not even to say there's other guys who can't, but there's 7 guys who could possibly win. And the odds are 7 guys aren't going to make the finals, like those 7. So, yeah, hopefully I'm not one of them. But the field is just really, really deep right now. And I think we're out of the era where you're going to have something like Brian Z. I think it's going to do a lot of moving around in terms of who wins. Really mysterious. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. All 7s. Good luck at WSM. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. Cheers from Toronto. Next time you drive to a comp, don't forget to pack your pillow. I enjoyed the pillow talk vids. There's going to be more pillow talk vids. There was a situation on Friday night. I think Friday night that sort of bummed me out and stopped me from wanting to do them. Nothing major, but definitely something I'm going to keep doing at comps. I'm going to turn up early to Worlds, a day early, to be able to do a couple more. Who would you like? Who would you like most? Unfortunately, like if I was in the mood and in the headspace, Wide Pav said yes. So hopefully that's at Worlds. I cannot wait for that one. Mateusz said absolutely not. So maybe we'll get there eventually. But yeah, definitely we could get the Stolmans up there. Who else? I'm sure we could get Alexei up there. Rauno would be a great one. I don't know if Rauno will lie in the bed with me. But the good thing is that's the one thing we can guarantee. Everywhere we go, there's going to be a hotel room, there's going to be a bed, and we could always lie in it. And Maresh, can I have permission to reply with? I've got a Mitch top 10, a bit overrated. I love your response to Lars and Liz. Can Mitch win Arnold's video? I don't know what you mean about permission, but when I commented on Liz and Lars' video, I had Mitch top 10 at the Arnold. I love that stuff. It helps out with the algorithms for them. It also alerts people to my profile. That's all I'm doing there. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Lots and lots of member chats and lots of new members. Mrs. Schaller, I got to be a member of your channel as well. I'm going to get on to that. But welcome. Atomic Spoon, welcome. And Maresh, welcome. Thank you very much, guys. Like I always say, it's not really about the money. It's just a small vote to say, I want this content to continue happening. And you want the commitment to continue doing it. And if you can't become a member, 100% understand. But if you could subscribe, like the videos, all of that, we continue getting it out there. And then in a perfect world, everyone's a member, everyone subscribes, everyone listens to everything I have to say. And then if you think I'm a jerk, at least it's an educated opinion, because there's plenty of people who have educated opinion that I'm a jerk, which bothers me a lot less than uneducated opinion of people who hear 2 seconds. Ross, thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Seriously inspiring work ethic, Moose. Have you always grafted this hard? I assume it's grinded this hard, or did you learn over time? Keep doing you, pal. My whole life, I've always had to fight myself from not working so hard. I think I've talked about my upbringing a little bit, and I've grown up really privileged. Now, there's a lot of sacrifices for that to happen. And I hope to do the same for my kids, where they don't see how hard I work. They don't see what we have to give up to do what they want to do. But, I was able to get good hockey equipment. I was able to go on some vacations. I was able to experience a lot of what life had to offer. And to me, I've always had an innate feeling that I need to earn that back in a way and sort of give back as much to the world as I can, because so much has been given to me. And I was talking to Liz today, actually, and I was saying, I wish that my brain worked different. I wish that I could have that bit where it's just 9 to 5 and just chill out and whatever. But we're 4 days after the win of the Arnolds, and I'm sort of already like, okay, how can we do more? What can we do next? And if you can imagine, like what having that brain is like. A lot of people find it admirable and awesome, but it's also like working 14 hours or 12 hours for no real reason other than like greater life purpose. And that's a really big challenge. And then that's why I want to keep Ashley at the forefront of my thoughts and my mind, because very easily I could just forever work my ass off and in uh, pursuit of having a good life, I could work myself into the grave, have a heart attack or something. Atomic Spoon, super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's a lot of super chats today, guys. Yeah, thank you. Definitely unnecessary, but very, very much appreciated. And I hope it's going. I might only be able to reply to super chats and members. Atomic Spoon says, your attitude reminds me of Brian, who I also enjoy. It's great to see another positive person who wants to improve strength sports for everyone. Yeah, I don't know. I would consider myself very different from Brian. Brian's a little bit more reserved than I am. I think he knows when to talk and not to talk. I think I will be exactly like Brian in 15 years' time. I'm just, as per usual, I want to learn things the hard way. But yeah, I think we both have the same desire for the sport to head in the right direction. I think the number one thing that athletes and fans should demand is that we have insurance if we get hurt at any comp. Right now, all the promoters are amazing about doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. I know that Arnold has it if we got injured. I know that Worlds has it if we got injured. Most shows don't. Most shows, if you tear your bicep, you either hope that the promoter pays for it or it's completely out of your own pocket. So that makes me really nervous. That's something that I want to improve about the sport. And I think that is well more important than increasing something like prize money or fan attendance, because a lot of guys rely on this for their livelihood. And say tearing a bicep in America, if that wasn't paid for by the promoter, it would cost you more than winning the Arnold to get that repaired, I would assume. Or say something even worse happened, you herniated a disc, you need back surgery on the spot. Like, you get into six figures really quickly in America, and I don't want to be subject to that. Butchie Kern, another super chat. Thank you very much. Mitch, it was great to be there at the audience and see you win the Arnold. What was that can you threw at us when you won? So I've won the last 4 or 5 shows I've done now. World Tour Finals, Arnold UK, obviously the Arnold America, and the one in Australia. After every one of those, I've had a beer come and chug the beer as a bit of a celebration. Little why not? It's funny actually how a lot of things around strongman for me are drinking beer, because I do that before the comps. I do that after I win. Outside of that, I might have like 1 beer a week, maybe. I'm really not much of a drinker, but that was Coors Light, I believe. Funny about that though, Ashley did not tell anyone who she was or what she was doing. She just bought it and went up to the front and waited for me to finish and then sprinted onto the stage. And in retrospect, we're thinking like, she's very lucky that she didn't get tackled or yelled at or reprimanded or anything. Which is a lesson to all of you that you shouldn't take up, but you could storm the stage if you wanted to, and apparently no one's going to do anything. Yeah, have a bit of fun with that. I would love to get a beer sponsor on board. Yeah, just celebrate beer. And there's a local brewery in town I'm really hoping to support and do a bit of work with, called Flying Monkey. So you can find it definitely in Ontario. I don't know if you can find it anywhere else, but I love their stuff. And I might actually call Ash. I'd love to go there tonight. Yeah, maybe we'll go there tonight. The funniest bit about that story, the throwing the beer can, is like people's natural reaction when you throw something out there is to try and catch it. So I finish the beer, I crush it, I throw it, and then like 4 people like gotta grab the empty garbage. I am just going to find some more of the member chats. Miss Chalet Liz says, Rano will 100% not get into bed with you. I will 100% contest that and try anyway. I think that would be funny. Maybe if we built a pillow barrier and made it as platonic as possible, then great. But I would just love if I did one of these to Rano. See if he would smack me or something. See, Jane thinks Rana could be persuaded. Simulacro says Max Stone. Max Stone, Trey versus Tom. That would be very cool. Yeah, I wonder what Trey could get to. His performance on the 210 no tacky. I got into my lap about 5 times, but something about that lap position and squeezing without tacky, it's just so difficult. Like I kept sliding off of it. So 5 reps of 210 no tacky is like crazy. Of course, we had tack towels, but still, yeah, mental. Absolutely mental. Liz, I share a bed with a strong man and find one is definitely enough. Jeez. Someone said something about federation. A federation for the promoters and a union or association for the athletes. It would be cool. It would be good, but that's asking Colin, Darren, Brian, Jan Todd, Arnold's Rogue, asking all of them to come together as one. And then they start needing to have some sort of mutual understanding about certain things. And I think that would be a big challenge. Now, in terms of a union, that's not possible because a union requires that we're all part of the same federation or association. And since there's not one, there's no option. But what we could do is an athlete association. And the challenge with that is that it relies on everyone just holding firm and saying, if there's no health insurance, we're not going to compete. But that puts guys in precarious situations who need to go compete to earn a living and to support their family and to fulfill sponsor obligations, all that. So it's a much more complicated issue than simply just going like, yep, boom, union, association, whatever, done, and you get everything you want. So it would have to be handled carefully. It would have to be handled by the right person. And it would have to be headed up, I think, by someone with more experience than myself. I've done really well in a short period of time. Some people think that I'm smart. I'm here to tell you that I'm not. And yeah, maybe in 5 years' time, I'll have enough credit. But for the meantime, I think there's enough going on in my life to forego that for the meantime. But certainly, if something like Laws, Brian, even like a Nick Best, just guys who are older, really well respected, and understand the ins and outs of where the sport has been and where it's going. I think those guys would be phenomenal to head something up like that. And if anyone ever reached out to me to be a part of it, it would be a very fast and easy yes. Liz, how could anyone tackle Ashley? Yeah, I do on occasion. Simulacra, Brian Brown with meat that does not look like meat. Oh, Liz, you're going to Hilton Head for Clash on the Coast. It'd be good to meet up, but probably not. Jane, where's my Arnold trophy? Louis is right here. Louis is very heavy. So it's sort of a little funeral for Louis. What do you call it? Almost like a tombstone. It's got the year he was born, 1883, I believe, and then 1912 is when he died. Yeah, 1863 to 1912. Poor guy. He was only 49. The coolest thing about this, and one of the things that was like a really cool moment for me, I was the first Canadian to win the trophy. And if you see here, he's got a Canada jersey on. So pretty cool to be the only one in Canada with Arnold Trophy, with Louis, with the Canadian singlet on. Yeah, very cool. Little patriotic point of pride there. Bronchop says he enjoyed the Louis Cyr movie. I'll have to check that out. Do you know, as I get more into strongman, I feel as though I need to start getting more competent in strongman history. I actually asked Dr. Bill Crawford. He was telling me about some books. I gave him my address, and he's going to send me over some strongman books. So I'm going to get stuck into where the sport's been. Not because I'm particularly interested in history. I don't like history. But I think if I'm benefiting a lot from the sport itself, there's a sort of an inherent responsibility to understand what's been done for the sport to get where it's going. And it'll probably give a better understanding of where the sport is headed as well. Kirai, thank you for the super chat. Hey, They say you can bribe Rana with this $25. Those pillow talk videos are pure gold. Do you know they got so much love from people at the event as well? A lot of people seem to really enjoy them, which is awesome. I love when it's a really simple idea that takes off well. Just chuck in some names of like who would you like to see pillow talk with at World's Strongest Man, and it could be competitors, it could be Colin, it could be Darren, it could be Magnus. I've got a way of peer pressuring people to do things they don't want to do. Liam Gautier says, I don't like history, Miss Hooper. Yeah, I don't. I really don't enjoy thinking about things that have already happened. I don't know, personality thing. I'm always sort of looking ahead, but I will take some time to go back and have a peek at some strongman history. Troy, thank you very much for the super chat. Nothing there. If you want to ask anything, feel free, fire away. Monica, trying to plant the seed for something. Let me see. What are we trying to plant the seed for? I don't see what you're talking about. Really mysterious. Thank you very much for the super chat. Sorry, I skipped over that one. When you're retired, could you see yourself running a show like Brian does with the Shaw Classic? I would volunteer for sure and stop stage storming. It really depends how much I accomplish. Like if I don't win anything else, then I probably won't have the platform to support a show, a big show like that. But I think what would be awesome is not just a show, but a health and fitness expo, almost like an Arnold, and expanding that way. I think that would be really cool. And that would be something that is a great 10, 20, 30-year goal in terms of long-term fulfillment for myself. Because the Arnold itself and Arnold himself has inspired so many people just to get out and move. And I said to Arnold when I met him, that that's what I have to thank him for. Not the strongman show, not bodybuilding, but simply just how many people have entered a gym because of his inspiration, which of course the bodybuilding and the strongman has come off the back of that. But that to me, that's the most meaningful. And if I could have some small impact and some small carry on from Arnold and what Arnold does and the impact that he's had, then to me, that's an amazing life. And I think Arnold has had an amazing life in a lot of different ways. And if I'm sure his brain works much the same as mine, like I'm sure between the bodybuilding and Governor and the movies, and I'm sure at stages, he's just thinking like, it's been enough. I've read Arnold's biography, and just incredible for him to come over from Austria, from sort of the humble beginnings that he had, and to thrive in America like he has is amazing. And even if you take that bit away, what he's done just as a person in the sport is a person in America, I should say, is pretty special and pretty incredible. DSOS, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, mad respect. Excited to see you excel at WSM. Your confidence and knowledge are huge inspiration to others and me in our own strength journeys. Please continue to keep us updated in your journey. Thank you very much. I will. I'll put out as much content as I can over World's Strongest Man and in the lead up as well. But Fabian will be with me at Worlds the whole time. He'll help to put out lots of content. We'll be driving down, so do a similar sort of road to World's Strongest Man. We'll be doing our usual training videos. And I'll keep putting out there what I do in the gym. And what I do in the gym is basically what I'll do in comp, so it's a bit of a spoiler. But I don't see any value in hiding it back from you guys. I'll keep putting it all out there, and that's a vote for me to continue doing that. So thank you very, very much for that. Where you say confidence and knowledge are a huge inspiration to others, that's really something that I hope to pass on. And I always say the line for me between confidence and arrogance is that arrogance is confidence without admitting that you're fallible. And I would be fine with anyone saying, I think I could win World's Strongest Man, so long as they also admit I could also not win World's Strongest Man. If you're just, I'm going to win, Um, it's to me that's arrogance because you're pretending as though you couldn't go wrong. But for me, I try to walk the line the best I can. I read comments because I've said this in a couple of podcasts. I love a study called the Jelly Bean Study, and that is basically the more people that guess how many jelly beans are in a jar, the closer you get to the truth, or the real number. And I think the same thing applies to virtually every situation where if I only read positive comments or I only read comments from my members, then I'm getting a very small subset of people who already like me telling me that you're appearing this way, you seem this way, where if you read lots of comments, even though sometimes it can suck, they're probably giving you a pretty reasonable idea of how you're behaving, which I think is good to do these sort of lives because most people sit on here for quite a while and you can hear actually full form what I have to say, which is really useful, really important. Funway says, we need Fabian on camera a bit so we can recognize him. Don't you recognize Fabian? He's been on camera a handful of times. I never see him becoming a row mark, though. I don't see him becoming like a face. Not a face, but a staple. Him and I was together because the reality is, Fabian could always find he is really good. He is really talented, and there's always a chance that someone wants him for a Netflix documentary, and I have to accept that there could be better opportunities for him. And if one comes along, I would want him to take that 100%. But I wouldn't want my brand to be affected because now Fabian's gone. I'll try and turn the camera around to him a bit more. I tried to do that with Kate as well and the team. Like, I love you guys seeing who's in my corner, who people are. I love you seeing Ashley and my mom and my mates and all that, because I do want to humanize myself and the guys in the sport, because in the end, we are just people trying to lift heavy things. Bronchopped. Moose eating the steak was borderline a sexual experience. I can see why he doesn't eat in front of the camera. I get so into my food. Actually makes fun of me a lot because when I eat, if I like it, I stare at it. There was too much eating on camera. Towards the end of the trip, I said, no more. I don't like it. Is there anyone, there's 247 people on here right now. Is there anyone who enjoys people watching them eat? Like, simple as that. Maresh says, is the mustache now elevated from a podium prop to a major world title aid? Maybe. It is going quite well, but I need a mustache wax or something to make sure that it stays in good shape. But it is forming up really well for Royal Albert Hall. Potentially we get a twist. If I can twist, I will walk out at Royal Albert Hall in a single arm singlet with red and white stripes. I'll find one, I'll do it, but only if I can twist it. So we'll see what we can do. Oh, Michael says Brian Shaw would be a good one. Would have to be longer than 10 minutes. The reason I do 10 minutes is because when it's around comp, oftentimes guys don't want to do a lot. And 10 minutes is pretty reasonable time to ask. And Brian around World's Strongest Man, I think there's about a 0% chance that he would do it. I would definitely try to convince him into it, though. So we'll see. Monica says, have Magnus do a pillow talk? Definitely. Yeah. Okay, a couple of Magnuses. Yeah, I could definitely get Magnus. Definitely. He's lovely, by the way. He gets shit he doesn't deserve. Reffing would not be an easy job, particularly when you can talk about he favors this person or this person, but the reality is when it's someone who's in contention to win a show, you don't want to take a rep away from them that you think they're going to get. I imagine being in his position, if you're determining someone who's either coming 9th or 10th in an event, there's much less pressure. But if someone comes up who's contending for the podium or for a win, then surely his adrenaline would be up a bit as well, hoping to make the right call. And you want to give guys credit for what they do. And I'm I really like him as a ref. I think he does a fair job, and that's as someone who I think there's been times that I've been given tougher calls. Like, for example, at Rogue on the video, Bobby and I locked at the dumbbell pretty much the same time. And Magnus waiting half a second or so costed me 2 or 3 points on that event. But fair enough. I mean, get stronger, do more. Bronchop says, how is the max dumbbell going? That's going to be brutal. I'm just getting stuck back into it. In early prep, like last year, or not last year, maybe last year actually, when I was just training it sort of once every other week, I got up to 125. I think if we could push that number to 130 or 135, that puts me in a really strong spot. And I think that one is the key for me to win. I said at the Arnold doing 2 reps on the 195 was the key to win. That rang to be true. I think this is going to be the same way. Gav for pillow talk. Gav would love it. A little bit of mustache on mustache action. yeah, would be easy. Tom says, have you heard of the beard struggle to sponsor anyone in the strength world? Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. It's I've never tried their stuff, so I can't really endorse stuff that I haven't tried yet, but maybe eventually. Your recovery to be able to compete and come back and play with a 210 stone the next day is mind-blowing. The thing about the record breakers is there's a lot of people who express gratitude to Rogue about what they do for strongman, what they do for the sport. Personally, I say if I'm healthy, if I'm uninjured, and I'm there, my best action of gratitude to Rogue for what they're doing is simply coming out and participating to the best of my ability. And I wasn't that good in the record breakers. I was close on the front hold. The stone was okay. I kept losing grip, and the Dinny stones, I was horrendous. Just my mind wasn't into it. But I think, how do you not give a small thank you by participating to the people who are probably pushing the sport forward as much as anyone at the moment? I have a lot of respect for Rogue. I have a lot of gratitude for Rogue for what they do. And if we want the sport to continue, the easiest way for the sport to, or if we want the sport to move forward, I think the easiest way for the sport to move forward is just continued participation. And if you could get out there and you're not performing really well, and you just get out and have a bit of fun and laugh, and they see you enjoying yourself and whatnot, a bit of an exhibition, then all the better. And why not? Big hats off to Trey and Kevin. I'm glad those records got broken. Gabby as well broke a couple of records. So huge well done to them. And records continuing to get broken continue to bring more attention to the sport. So any records that get broken, I'm very, very happy about. Lars says, I wonder what Mrs. S was doing. Mrs. S is with me, Lars. You don't worry about that. Zach says, not interested in watching someone eat, but to see how each individual diet is and the response to how their diet getting better themselves is interesting. Yeah, I know people love food stuff, but I don't know. I just don't really like it. Almost like if you, I don't know, if you had any other person in the world, any other person who was involved in any other element, like if you asked your accountants, tell me everything you eat in a day, to me, it's a pretty intrusive question. And it's almost too personal for me to want to talk about, which is sort of funny as someone who puts virtually everything out there. But I'm a bit funny with it, and I don't want to be assessed on what I eat. I don't want people to watch what I eat. I don't want to share what I eat, because that's just a part of my life. That's just for me. That's just for me and the people around me. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day. Bronchop says, enjoyed Liz and Law's Arnold recap. Thoughts? What a hell of a show. I mean, guys, I assume everyone here is subscribed to Big Law's official, who's obviously my coach. If you're not, head over there. They are number one at the moment for strongman news, opinions, videos. I'm just trying to follow behind in being the athlete who puts the most out there and is the most available. But I'm firmly bowing down to them being the best channel. So if you're not onto them, head over and get onto them. Jiminy Cricket says, where is the membership button? I don't know. If you guys can help him out, please, yeah, please tell us where it is. Jacob says, speaking of records, is there any record you want to break? To the chagrin of Lawrence Chalet, I'd love to do the bail tote. I know that it's ended careers, but I think I could do that. 4 meters, 615 kilos. I think it was 650, maybe. I think I could do it 7 seconds, 6 seconds. I would have had that frame carry record. I'm coming back for that for sure. We're going to train grip hard going into the next Arnold's if the frame is there. I dropped the frame at about 5.2 seconds with about 2.5 meters to go. I think I would have been about 6 seconds on that, which would have been awesome. There you go. Jiminy Crickets. It's the join button by the channel icon. I can't see what they're talking about, but apparently that is it. Paul says, your volume of Giants live shows going to decrease as you pursue larger titles? No. The only reason my number of Giants live shows is going to decrease is because I'm getting married during the World Deadlift Champs. So that's not going to happen. I will not be there. Otherwise, I'm going to Royal Albert Hall. I'm going to Scotland. And if anything pops up in North America, I'm there. I'm at every show that I could be at outside of the one that I'm getting married at. Reason being, again, I don't feel like I have to peak for those shows. I don't feel like those shows take a huge amount out of me. I just think it's a really good, solid training session, great experience, and good to go head-to-head with some of the best in the world. But if we want the sport to do well, we have to be out there in front of all of you, competing, trying our best, showing you what we can do, being characters, being available. That's just, to me, it's just so important to me to do that. So the more we can and the more we can help out in that way, then awesome. I mean, Giants Live Scotland last year, it upset me a little bit because the Rogue Invitational was a couple weeks after. So, I mean, fair enough, not ideal. But the number of guys who sort of dropped out of that one because they wanted to focus on other things or because they weren't feeling right or whatever it was, it makes, even if they're like completely legitimate, I understand how hard that would make the life for Giants Live. So for me, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm there. If I'm hurt, then I'll give my spot to someone else. Thankfully, that hasn't happened yet. But I support Giants Live, and the best way that I can show that I support them is simply by being there, turning up, working hard. Simulacra says he has 4 quesadillas and a whole chicken. Good for you, mate. Keep eating. James says, I would be almost surprised if you didn't win World's Strongest Man. Who do you see as the favorites this year? If I was to give a podium prediction, I think since Max Dumbbell is in there, I think people are giving a bit too much weight to it. It's only one of the 5 events. So other events being a deadlift. I forget how much you guys actually know. We know a bit more than you. So I'm just going to try not to say something I shouldn't. We've got max dumbbell. We've got a deadlift for reps. We've got our stone run. We've got a pull, a truck pull, whatever. And we've got fingers. So the guys who are going to be good at all 5 of those, like I think if I could do the dumbbell well, I'm going in as definitely one of the favorites. If you look at everyone else, like Alexi on a shield carry is good, not great. Could drop a couple of points there. On truck pull, last year was phenomenal. So if he can repeat that performance, then great. But traditionally, he's not great. He hasn't been great with stone in the past little while. So while he might win the dumbbell, there's a couple of events there that are question marks. Tom has a big question mark with the dumbbell, but he's great at frame carry. Fingers will be good. He's the best in the world at stones. Trey, really solid across the board. I mean, deadlift for reps, good. I don't think he can keep up in the frame carry the same, or in the shield carry the same. His truck pull is pretty good. His stones are phenomenal, and his fingers, not too sure, but he's great at driving his legs. His endurance is way better than you would expect. So, do you know, I actually have Trey fairly high up, just off the top of my head. I think it could be me, Trey, and maybe see, Mateus just loses too many points on the on the deadlift. I think let's go me, Trey, Tom. That's what I think. Brown Shop says, what's the weight on the knack deadlift for reps? Brown Shop, I don't even know if you're supposed to know it's a knack. Can't tell you, but I'm sure you could assume. Oh, cool. It's the rain shield carry. Hell yeah. I'm going to get onto them, get some insider information about what that is. Yeah, I'm sure I missed some. I mean, I know there's 6 events, but anyway, you get the picture. Oh, it got put out today that it's knack. Okay, good. Awesome. Gotcha. Well, there was a knack deadlift 2 years ago, so I am going to assume it's the exact same thing, which I think that was 350 a couple of years ago. And I did 350 for 4 today on a stiff bar with no suit pretty easily. So you'll see me up in double digits for that. That's for sure. And I think my deadlift form correction is going to have massive dividends when it comes to reps. I think my efficiency is just way, way up. Not to mention on like the barrel deadlift. Now I know where to put my feet because I learned that last year. Simple as that. So yeah. Any concerns on the weather? No? I don't know. They released the events in order on Instagram. Wow. Let me check that out. Let me see. World's Strongest Man. Oh, cool. Okay, there we are. 2023 events. Let's just go through these quick. So heat events, we got loading race, the deadlift machine, which is the barrel one. We've got a log ladder. We've got Conan's wheel, kettlebell toss, and stone off. I love that. If those are the final events, I would be so excited, so happy. Yeah, I mean, loading, I'm super comfortable. That deadlift machine is sort of like a ladder, like it's more going to be speed related as much as anything. Log ladder, after my performance on the log at the Arnold, I will be better at Worlds than I was at the Arnold. Just across the board, full stop, based on how I'm structuring training with laws. I'm going to be at my best for Worlds. So what you saw at Arnold's is a prelude to that. Then we've got Conan's wheel. I did a 300 kilo run on a yoke for 20 meters without much issue. Other than my ear was bleeding. That's what happened when I posted that picture up. Then we have kettlebell toss. I've gotten much better at tossing over the past little while. Since Shaw, that was a big focus of mine. And when I say big focus, it doesn't mean I'm training it a whole lot, but I'm just conceptualizing and studying it a bit more. And I think it's as simple as I was keeping really long levers out in front of me. And I think instead of long out in front, it works way better to soften the elbow and translate some of that forward energy into upward energy to be able to throw it. Then we have stone off. Then final events, number 1, fingers. I have one at my gym and I'm getting used to it. I think that'll be a good event for me. Yeah. Then we've got deadlift, the next deadlift. I think I'm going to be hard to beat with how I've improved my efficiency. Shield carry could also do well in that. If that's day 1, that's a really good day 1 for me. Fingers, deadlift, shield carry. I don't see a deadlift win, shield carry win out of the question. Fingers, I don't think I'll win, but it could be good. I could go into day 2 with 25 to 27 points. Like that would be phenomenal. Then we're at max dumbbell, which if I could come top 5, I'd be really happy. So let's say 5 points. What are we at? 27, 5 is 32. Vehicle pull. This is an interesting one. If I could come through on the vehicle pull, that would be awesome. Say like a top 4 vehicle pull, top 3, 4, 8 points. We're at 40. Atlas Stones, good performance. There's a lot of rationale in how I could do really well here. So I always think like to win Worlds, say Tom had, I think 52 points last year. I think on average, if you get somewhere between 48 and 50 points, that's probably a win, meaning that you can afford to drop about 2 points on every event. So third place in every event probably wins the show. And I think I could pick up a couple of points in terms of third on average, pick up a couple on shield carry, deadlift for reps, lose a couple on deadlifts, top 3 on truck pull, top 3 on fingers, top 5 on stones. Awesome. The funny thing though is like stones, man, there's so many good stone lifters in the world right now. Between Tom, Trey, Max, who like hopefully his recovery is going well. That guy, I'm so impressed with how he stays in good spirits so much. Like, I've never seen that guy not smile. But so many good stone lifters in the world. Okay, guys, I'm going to give it another 5 minutes and then I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to make my way through as many member comments as I can. If you really want something answered, chuck in the super chat. Last couple of minutes, the joining the membership, as always, that's just a vote to continue putting the content out there on the channel. So I really appreciate everyone who's doing that. And let's see what we got. Bronze up. Everyone looks in scary shape right now. Let's see if he can remain peaked for 6 more weeks. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Evan is definitely someone who's in contention if he's in good shape. The one thing about Evan, and I say it with all the love in the world, I was literally just talking to him. If all he ever blundered on was worlds, I think there'd be a lot of evidence to go that, okay, this is scary. But last year, there was a handful of performances that didn't go how they could have for Evan, between Cardiff, Worlds, Shaw, even Royal Albert Hall. He was third, but still not what he's capable of. I think his issues are all, like his strengths are all neck down. And if he can get neck up correct, he's a dangerous competitor. I just hope that bicep is okay. He had shoulder issues last year. And when you're working at a 10 out of 10 always, it's really tough to be able to perform. Brontop says, seems unlikely Tom comes in the same shape as last year with only 4 weeks of full training. Hope he does, though. Makes it interesting. 100%. I want everyone there in full shape. I want everyone at their peak, at their best, because those wins mean a hell of a lot more. See if I miss any member comments, and then I am going to get out of here. All right. Oh, I missed one super chat. Troy Flint says he made an edit of my Arnold win on TikTok. See if we can catch that together. I hate TikTok personally. As a consumer, it's awesome. As a creator, it is horrible. I have no idea how to grow TikTok. I've mostly just given up on it, to be honest. Let's see. What do we got? Troy Flint. Yeah, Troy Flint. Let's see. 10.8 followers, same as me. Oh, here we are. I like that. Troy, if you want to shoot that over, I'd be more than happy to use that on my Instagram. I don't have too much long form content, so it would be good. Yeah. Simulacra says, enjoy that beer place tonight, bro. Thank you, bro. Yeah, time to find out if Ashley wants to go to the beer place or not. Hopefully she does. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate you. Yeah, anyone who listens to my long form stuff, it really does mean the world to me. And yeah, it helps me be able to communicate how I'm used to communicating. And yeah, I suppose short form, I need a bit of work on that, but hey, what can you do? Catch you later, guys. Take care. Thank you for joining the live, and we'll chat to you soon.